Good morning, students. So my name is Dr. V. Hariharan, Department of Computational Intelligence. Today we are going to discuss about the topic bridges and structure of router. First we will discuss about what is in bridges and why we are using in computer networks. The bridge is one of the network device in the computer networks to connect two or more communication networks or network segment and creates a single network. If you want to connect with the more than one computers or the network segment or different department into under a one network, so we have to use a communication device. So that is one of the device is called as bridge. It provides the interconnection with other computer networks which use the same protocol. The multiple local area networks can be connected to form a larger local area network. So that kind of devices we can use the bridge. So this is the principle of the bridge. A computer network, a bridge separates a LAN into the different segment like segment 1 and this segment 2. How we are going to connect this segment 1 into this segment? We are using a device which is called as a bridge. If any PC want to be connected from this LAN to this LAN, we can use the connecting device that is called as bridge. The bridge reads all the input through the MAC address and decide whether to transmit the data from the segment 1 to the segment 2. If the segment 1 is having one set of LAN, segment 2 is connecting another segment and segment of LAN that can be connected with the source and the destination address, the data want to be sent. So these are all the functionalities of the bridges in the computer networks. The bridges allows to split the local area network into many smaller segments. It performs all the tasks in the data link layer and it helps to hold the MAC address, that is a medium access control, which is available with the NIC, that is network interface card, all the computers in the network. It helps to decrease the traffic over the network. If you are not using any communication devices like a bridge, definitely we will face a lot of traffic when we are sending the message from one end to the another one end. With using a MAC address, bridge get to filter the all contents of the source and the destination points. It's used to making interconnection of two LAN networks along with single and the same protocol. Bridges can work as a single and larger LAN with connecting a multiple virtual LAN, that is we call as VLAN. So what are the different types of bridges? One is transparent bridge and translational bridge and source root bridge, MAC layer bridge, remote type bridge. So these are all the different switches, bridges available in the computer networks. Let me discuss one by one. So what is a transparent bridge? So it is also known as a learning bridge. A transparent bridge is a plug and play bridge. So these are all the transparent bridges that create a table to terminate the address on its own. And it's use a table for source location and able to the self updation. Each and every new connection is coming into the network. So the address of the new PC system will be updated in the bridge. Next one, a translational bridge. Translational bridge plays a key role in changing the networking system from one type to the another one type. For example, here we are using one LAN type, another one thing we are connecting here, token ring type. If you want to connect with a different type of network, we have to use a device that is called as translational bridge. So these bridges are used to connect the two different networks like token ring and the Ethernet. The next, source root bridge. A source root bridge is introduced by IBM for dedicatedly using for the token ring networks. The special frames are discovered by the host. It is known as the discovery frame, and it spreads them over the entire network. A source root bridge helps to prevent the looping problem. So when the looping problem will occur, if whenever you are using the token ring, definitely there is a possibility for making the loop. To avoid this loop, we can use a source root bridge. Next one, a MAC layer bridge. So medium access control layer bridge is also known as a local bridge. If offers a packet filtering and repeating the service for the network segments of a similar type. So here we are using one similar type of hubs. So here another one segment, we are using the same network connecting devices, which is called as a hub. So here we are using a bridge, a MAC layer bridge, by connecting the same type of network segment. Next one is a remote type bridge. A remote type bridge allows to make a connection of two networks at a different location using a wide area network, that's WAN, like as modem or the lease line. So here we are using a WAN. Through this WAN we can use a remote type bridges. So this is especially connected systems in a remote area. Let me discuss what are all the advantages of the bridges. So bridges are simple and significant. They prevent unnecessary traffic from crossing onto other network segment. So bridge can reduce the amount of network traffic on the segment. It also make it possible to isolate a busy network from not so busy network. Next, what are the disadvantages of the network? Mostly we are not using the bridges recent days. So because of these disadvantages, it's unable to read the specific IP address because they are more trouble with the MAC address. And then it cannot help while building the network between the different architecture of the networks. So nowadays we are using the many different architectures. So that kind of system, network system, it cannot be possible. It transfer all kind of broadcast message. So they are multiple to stop the scope of the messages. Let me discuss about the router. So router is physical or a virtual internet networking device that is designed to receive, analyze and forward the packets between the computer networks. The router examines the determining the IP address of given packet and is used to headers and forwarding the tables to decide the best way to transfer the packets. So as we know about that, all the data which is passing through the network in the form of packets. If you are using a different type of a network environment, it may be one is LAN and another one is router. So if you want to connect a different types of networks, definitely you have to need a device which is called as a router. If it is same device, you can go with the bridge or it may be a switch. But if it is a different one, so one LAN and WAN, if you want to connect a different environment, you have to go with the router. It shares information with other routers in the networking. It uses a routing protocol to transfer the data across the network. It's more expensive than other networking devices like switches and the hubs. So what are all the features of the network? Already we discussed about it. The LAN and the WAN, if you want to connect with the different environment or the different network devices, so at that time we have to go with the routers. So what is the difference between switch and the router? So physically, if you are seeing any one of the device which is switch or it may be a router, first you have to check it whether the device is a switch or the router. So looking as a look wise, both are looking as the same one, but for understanding purpose, I am saying that the switch does not have any power button or on off button at the back side, but router will have the on off button at the back side. The router works on the network layer of the ISO model and it is able to communicate with its adjacent devices with the help of IP address and the subnet. Router provides a redundancy as it is always work in master and slave mode. It allows the user to connect the several LAN and the WAN. Moreover, a router creates a various path of the forwarding the data. So what are the different types of router? One is a wireless router. This is as we are using in the home we are using day by day, right? Between 150 feet to 300 feet. Another one is routers. The routers is combination of the bridge and the router. And next was core router. The backbone of the network also provides a various type of fast and the powerful data communication interfaces. Edge router, a lower capacity device, use an external border gateway protocol. And next one is a subscriber edge router. It belongs to an end user organization and acts on border devices. Next one, a label edge router is boundary of multi-protocol label switching, MPLS, the networks, and act as a gateway between the LAN and the WAN or the internet. At broadband router, it provides a high-speed internet with the help of modem or a phone and uses the VoIP technology, that is voice over IP technology, to the computer. So this is the basic structure of the router. The router is having the switch fabric, that is a switching network, and the input port processor we will call it as IPP, and output port processor, that is we will call it as an OPP. So this will be controlled by an switch control. So this is the basic router structure. So majorly we are using the routers that's to redirecting or connecting a different types of networking or network environment to transfer the data. Majorly it will be helps the routing table and the lookup table containing all the available destination address and the corresponding switch output port. And that external algorithm fills this routing lookup table. The purpose of routing table is lookup and entry corresponding to the destination address of the incoming packet and provide the output port. And as soon as a routing decision is made, all the information should be saved on the routing table. When the packet enters on IPP, the designation port of the switch should be chosen and based on the destination address of the incoming packet. So here we are having a routing table of the one router, and this is the routing table of the router 2. So what are the details available? So what is the sequence number of the packets as well as the destination address of the packet, and routing port number and the estimated cost. So how much it costs, it's transfer one packet from one end to the another one end. The same details we are available in the router 2, and based on this routing table only, the addresses, the destination addresses is saved in the routing table. If the destination address, the center want to send the same data the next time, automatically it will fetch from the destination address and it will transfer the route from which router should be followed and where the destination want to be reached at the earliest. And this is the way the router is working. And already we discussed about the many things about the router, with the what is an static and dynamic router, how the static routers can be connected, and how the subnetted and everything we will discuss in the lab programs. Just go through that. You will get a clear picture about a practical idea about how the router is working in the dynamic and the static one. Thank you.